Welcome back. All right, a little bit of news of the day for everybody. Sidney Crosby, so the kid, he's on the COVID list. He's out tonight against the Flyers. And with this, it's always mysterious. Like, did he test positive? Is that somebody that's a close contact to him tested positive? They were exposed. Like, there's a lot of ways you can end up on the list. Doesn't mean he tested positive. The game tonight is going ahead against the Flyers, so it doesn't sound like the NHL has any reason to think that it's an outbreak, which tells me he probably is not one that tested positive. Because if he did, we would shut the game down tonight and test everybody tomorrow, like with San Jose with Thomas Hertl. So, Crosby out. It is now Malkin's chance to shine again. Happened last year. I have no doubt he can do it again. Interesting news out of Columbus. I know some Columbus fans won't be necessarily happy about this, but the whole Tortorella is going to get fired watch. Jarmo Kekalainen pours some cold water on that today, saying he has full faith in Tortorella. Tortorella responds with, "I hate that the general manager feels he has to do that," kind of thing. Like he's not happy about the way things are going in Columbus, clearly, and he doesn't like that his boss has to come out and give a throw of support. And I've been mentioning this as well. I really think that because of the way this season's set up, because it's basically it's a divisional tournament, it's a completely different season than anything we've ever had. I think there's some teams who have worse records than they would have had in a normal regular season, and some teams who have better records than they might have had in a normal regular season. And I have a feeling there might be general managers, there might even be owners that are looking at this season and saying, well, this didn't work out, but we'll see when things go back to normal next season if things get better. So there's a possibility that there's some owners looking at it that way, while fans may not. Fans may just be looking at the standings, looking at the records, and saying Columbus has to make a change. There's other coaches as well that are under fire, but it may not be viewed the same by the teams that are involved. So yeah, Jarmo gives his support. I don't think that's going to silence any of the critics. What will normally happen then is people go, well, maybe Kekalainen's going to go then. So yeah, that's probably where that'll end up. Travis Konechny is back in the lineup for Philadelphia tonight, which means Nick Aube-Kubel is going to be the healthy scratch for the Flyers. I'll reiterate what I said before the season. I think Aube-Kubel is a perfect pickup for the Seattle Kraken when they do their expansion draft and beyond. I think Aube-Kubel is a decent forward with a pretty decent work ethic as well. And I think that's what they're going to be looking for. Guys with work ethic who may have some upside there, and they're still relatively young. And Aube-Kubel, to me, ticks all those boxes. Alex Chiasson. He is to have a hearing today from NHL Player Safety for a cross-check on Jimmy Vesey of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, cue the Wheel of Fortune, spin the wheel kind of thing. If it was just a fine, they wouldn't have a hearing with him, I don't think. And I'm trying to think. I don't think Chiasson has any kind of history of disciplinary action against him. So we'll see what happens. For people who want to say, well, this is favoritism by NHL in favor of Toronto, they always favor Toronto. I don't think they do. There was this guy Nazem Kadri, who they kept suspending against Boston during the playoffs. I don't think they favor Toronto at all. But I always find it interesting that when these things happen, the people go, "That's it. The NHL's playing favorites." I don't think that's a thing when it comes to Toronto, though. No cups since '67. Not a lot of favoritism there. So yeah, we'll see what happens, and depending on how much other news there is today, I may report on if he gets suspended later in a different news of the day type video. Derek Stepan, Ottawa Senators. So we knew he was out. We knew he was out for a while. He's going to need surgery. He's out for the season. He's got damaged labrum in his dislocated shoulder. All of that sounds very, very painful. So this has just been a nightmare for Stepan. He goes to Ottawa. He's a good a good sport about going to Ottawa, but he really would rather play in the States, be close to his family. And now he gets hurt, and he's going to have surgery. And I mean, on the upside, it means he can go home and be with his family. He's an unrestricted free agent this summer. But that's the other downside of this, is at a time where he's trying to show he can still play and he can look, I can still produce in the NHL. He has a rough go of it in Ottawa. It ends in injury. He probably ends up on a tryout next summer. Probably ends up being one of those guys who has to prove he can still play and ends up on like a $750,000 contract next season. So yeah, all the best in recovery to Derek Stepan. And for the Senators, things seem to be going okay. Pretty decent right now without Stepan. So it's a shame, but that's the thing. Sometimes these things just don't work out. Josh Anderson, doubtful to play tonight. So this was the thing with Josh Anderson. This was the one part that we all had wondered. Anderson only scored 1 goal last year because he got hurt. Anderson does have a propensity to get hurt. So we'll see if this is the start of a pattern for him with Montreal. Hopefully not. He has 9 goals early in the season. So for Josh Anderson, hopefully he's not out for very long, but he's doubtful to play tonight. And he didn't play in their last game either. Nico Hischier also very likely to be out for at least one more game. They're not saying a whole lot. He wasn't at the morning skate today. Could be out for a while. Maybe he's only out for a couple of games. But again, when the teams are as evasive as they've been on these things, we basically don't find out just how bad it is until like Stepan, where it's out for the season. And last but not least on the board, Derek Ryan. Calgary Flames have placed him on waivers. I would think he clears. Again, this is just so that you can put him on the taxi squad. So I don't think this is necessarily a sign that they don't want Ryan on the team. This just means he's going to probably be headed to the taxi squad, which gets them some cap space. So the capology that has been dominant so far this season, it continues, where teams mess with the cap day to day, and I don't report very much on players being moved to the AHL, players being moved to the taxi squad, players being called up, because a lot of the time this year it's paper move only. By the time the next game happens, surprise, everybody's back where they were in the last game, and everything was done just to try to save a little bit of money under the cap. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding any of these items from today's news. And again, if more happens later on, I will make sure to place a video in the feed for all those fine people out there who've got a subscription to the channel. Like once we know what happens with Chiasson, and then we see what else happens elsewhere, I'll be here. I'm always here. Nowhere else to be. So hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happen upon this video. And yeah, I wanted an excuse to wear this because, again, I haven't worn this one in a while, so it's possible there are viewers who may not even known I had it. But this one, unlike the other one that I had, this one actually fits me. So that's good news when they actually fit. Thanks again for all your support. It means a lot, and I will talk to you again soon.